gente. I hope everybody is doing good, feeling great. Welcome back to my channel here. For those of you who are regulars to this channel, then you might most likely have seen my most recent video. And we dispelled a few myths on that video. And so myth number one we dispelled was that the myth that Raiola rice does not know where the kitchen is unable to locate the kitchen. So we dispelled that one. Myth number two, we dispelled the rumor that Raiola rice does not know his way around the kitchen. So we put a big X on that myth. We dispelled myth number three, that Raiola rice cannot put together some edibles once in the kitchen. We dispelled that one big time. Because remember, I came up with salad. In Spanish we say ensalada. Alright? And I know at the end there, there was a capture of me, having salad. I just wanted to clarify. That might have looked like ketchup. It was not ketchup on my salad. That was salad dressing, French style. Now, we were in that video testing the Katuchef titanium cutting board. And so I'm going to go over to the cutting board so we can see whether the final myth was dispelled or not.
Now continue.
Remember our friend? The Katuchef titanium cutting board. So the question was whether it would pass the test. And we agreed that to some extent it could fail the test at a first attempt. It can't necessarily pass the test. Why? Because the promise and what is being tested is lifelong durability, that it's healthy, other things, a whole bunch of other things, that it promises. Now, the most basic one, at least the one that I was looking into at that point, was that it is scratch. I forget what the term is, but that it doesn't scratch. I was going to say scratch free, but yeah, when they deliver it, it is scratch free. The thing is, what they say is that even as you use it as a cutting board, cut up your fruits, cut up your vegetables, cut up meats, cut up anything and everything that you want to cut in the kitchen. Just make sure it's not your fingers. That anything and everything that you want to cut in the kitchen, the titanium board will remain scratch free. Well, guess what? It's got scratches. It's got scratches from being used to cut. Therefore, I don't know any other way to say it, but this Katuchef titanium cutting board has failed its first test. Now, I don't know about the other things. It says order free. I don't know. For now it is. We'll see what happens when spicy things start getting cut. Yeah, I'm not sure how clear it is here. There's a whole lot of scratching around here. So I don't know how clearly that can be captured right now from the camera angle. But just in case not, I've provided a few other pictures. So I plan to write to Katuchef, provide my pictures, and see what they say, because they do also promise a 30-day money-back guarantee. There's a bit of stuff on this other side. It's not as egregious and evident as this. So that's just the verdict. I'm not trying to pull down Katuchef in any way. It's just that I came up with that first video, and the very least that I felt we could do at this point was, once I saw those scratches, was bring back a little bit of the evidence. That's it for me, I think. I still got some salad. Just hang on there. I still do have some salad. That's the good news. So, nothing to stand between us and our ensalada. All right? So we still got salad. Actually, this is a different bowl of salad, I'll admit. It's not the same salad as last time. That one was quickly dispatched. So here we go. I will write to the Katuchef people, let them know the situation here, and we'll see what happens from there. As always, good people, stay well and stay blessed. Here is an update since I put together that little piece. Right here from the Katuchef website is the question, what are the benefits of using the Katuchef cutting board? And then it says right here, Katuchef cutting board is highly durable, resisting scratches and dents, which ensures longevity. And then it goes on. Well, the problem in this case was it is pretty scratched up. It also had a couple of dents, like I said in my previous video, but I had decided to overlook those. This again is another page from the Katuchef website. And among the things it says in terms of advertising the strength and the beauty and why this cutting board is better than anything that's out there and solution to all your cutting board needs, it says prevents risk from microplastics. And there are also videos on the website. I'm not able to show those, or I guess didn't put enough time into it, but this is what's written. And so what they show you is how plastic cutting boards cut up. And so the idea is that because they cut up, that then creates plastic chips, which then become microplastics. Well, that could be true. The thing is, this cutting board is scratching pretty similarly, the titanium one. Question then, does that mean there might be titanium chips in my food? Just a question. I'm not saying there is, but what I'm saying is the titanium board is not, at least in my experience, quite as scratch resistant as the website says. There's even a customer testimonial that says Katuchef really doesn't scratch at all. So no germs and bacteria get into it and then to other foods. So I asked, then what happens when the Katuchef does scratch? That would imply then that germs and bacteria get into it and then to other foods? Well, also on the website, it does say, as I've highlighted here in yellow, 30-day money back guarantee. Guarantee. So I reached out to Katuchef, and this is the email I sent. I mentioned that I had started using the Katuchef cutting board and that the results I had received or experienced were different from what is advertised. So as I wrote, Katuchef advertises that its titanium cutting boards are scratch resistant. And that is one of the key features that attracted me to buy a Katuchef cutting board. Okay, so I have a typo there. Scratches are showing up on the cutting board that I bought, however. Pictures are attached. Due to the scratches, which are a performance of the cutting board opposite to what Katuchef advertised, I request a full refund from Katuchef of the $66.75 that I paid for the cutting board and shipping and handling. So this is the reply. But each time I write, it's a different person who replies with an avatar there. I think these are AI generated replies. I'm not sure that these individuals and their names actually exist. Anyway, whether they do or not, this was the reply. Thank you for contacting us. We're sorry to hear that the items did not match your expectations. We'd be grateful if you could share your experience with our team in this survey. All right, so I filled in the survey. And then somebody else from their team wrote back and said, our rules for the item return, remember, there's 30-day money-back guarantee, advertised. Well, this is what they said. Our rules for the item return dictate that to be eligible for a refund, you must send the items back to us within 30 days, okay, 30 days. The items have to be unused, as I've highlighted there, or undamaged, and in the original packaging. Then what I've also highlighted, the cost of returning the items will also have to be covered by you. Then on the other hand, they gave me an option. If you would agree, we would issue an instant refund to you for 25% of the whole order value. If this option seems acceptable for you, please let us know and we'll do it right away. Well, this was my reply. Thank you for your reply. The instructions are unsatisfactory though. Why? Because the instruction states that for me to be eligible for refund, the item has to be unused and undamaged. But in this case, I have used the item, and that's how I found out that the item is different from what Katuchef describes. So that didn't make too much sense to me, saying they can only refund me if the item is unused and undamaged. Meaning it arrived in my home, I didn't touch the package, didn't take out the cutting board, and just simply decided to send it back. That didn't make too much sense. So then replied, because I included some pictures, we have just issued you a full refund for the damaged item. And that is correct. Again, a different person, different avatar each time. But anyway, this is what they said, and indeed, they did give me a full refund. And I accepted it at that point. Now, later on, I saw that it mentions damaged item. The item, in a sense, yes, it's damaged. But the point is, the cutting board does not perform as advertised. There is damage, which their advertisement says is never going to happen. And that never going to happen is so incredibly healthy. Anyway, I got my money back. And I'm not trying to shame Katuchef. Actually, when I began this, I was really excited. A titanium cutting board. I had no idea that it wouldn't be up to scratch. Pun wasn't intended, but it fits. And then also here, on this particular page on the Katuchef website, it says resistant to odors and stains. Now this part I hadn't yet observed, so it wasn't part of my concerns that I wrote to them. But among the things that we cut pretty often are lemons. And this Katuchef titanium cutting board constantly has lemon stains. So, just saying. Hey, we use the cutting board, it works, but this was the little test that I decided to do, not knowing what the results would be, and this has been the outcome. So, that's my little attempt at doing a product test. So everyone out there, whether you use wooden cutting boards, plastic cutting boards, or titanium cutting boards, stay healthy, stay well, and stay blessed.